The scripture for today's episode will be Romans 12, verse 10. Be devoted to one another in love, honor one another above yourselves. That is the NIV version. Now to the interview. What is up, everybody? This is the Crucial Interviews, and I'm here today with Alcott Music. This dude is so talented, has such great songs, and has done great features. He's been on songs with people such as KJ52, Futuristic 350, Outlet Beats. He did a song to his beat, and we'll talk about that more later. And Ari Bradshaw. And we're about to get into this, some of his challenges, some of his songs featured like Come Quick. We got songs like Influences, and let's get into that. So, Alcott, what inspired this new song that you recently released? The Before the Lord Takes Me.
Yeah, so that song, the way that collaboration actually came about is I entered a bunch of rap contests that Futuristic was hosting last year, and I consistently was like sort of making top 10, but I never won. But I just like made an impression that way, and formed a connection with him. And he's like a pretty established artist, and so when I was writing that, I thought, well, like I'm on the come up, I'm trying to make it, and I was like, well, what if I talk about the things that I'm trying to accomplish like before I die, and then I get his perspective as someone who's already made it, but he like obviously still has goals of his own, and so I thought that would just be sort of a dope collaboration. So that was the inspiration with that.
Bro, dude, you were right, bro. It was dope. It was so dope. You guys kind of just fed off of the vibe on the beat. It was awesome. It was really, really awesome. So about the cover art, right? So the song is Before the Lord Takes Me, and it's like we have this bird and a watch. So does that kind of symbolize what you're talking about in the song? Like before the Lord takes you and you go up?
Yeah, we actually
That's cool, bro.
I toyed
That-
with a bunch of
Oh, sorry.
different cover arts, but yeah, there were a bunch of other cover arts before that one, but they were like sort of just like too on the nose, I thought. So I ended up deciding like let's go with something that's kind of like metaphorical, and just
Right.
like a watch, like
Right.
you only have so much time or whatever, like a crow like symbolizes death. I don't know, I just thought it was kind of a cool idea.
Wow. Okay, I didn't even think about that, man. That's tight. That's deep. It's like deep, but it seems so obvious at the same time. It's like a bar in art. Art bars. That's what we're gonna call that one. We gotta call that art bars. So
I like
more
that.
about like some of your challenges, cause I wanna call you the challenger. I wanna call you the challenger, cause like it seems like you've done so many challenges and been successful in all of them, from the Lecrae challenge to the Rapzilla challenge, bro. Sometimes I still listen to your Rapzilla entrance, bro. That thing is fire, bro. I can't stop listening to that one. So,
appreciate
could you
that.
kind of just like tell everybody how like you kind of got into the challenges and getting into that? Because I feel like you mentioned it in one of your songs.
Yeah. So to me, hip hop is like a competitive sport. And so I'm just really into the competition element of it. I mean, I think as Christians, like, I understand the perspective that, we want to build each other up. So like, I'm very much in favor of like friendly competition. Like, I think that that's something that we should support. I think that it pushes all of us to be better. So yeah, I'm really into
Right.
doing contests for that reason. And yeah, I just think that it's a great way to grow. It's a great way to gain exposure too. I mean, a lot of my listeners have come from people discovering me on those contests. So, and I've built connections that way. So yeah, I'm big on contests.
Bro, that's definitely how I found you, from the Lecrae challenge. I'm gonna be honest, I tried my hand at the Lecrae challenge, but I was not put on there, and for good
Oh,
reason.
dope.
I look back at it and I was like, bro, this was trash. What was I doing? Oh my, bro. And then like challengers like you and Mikey, bro, it was crazy in comparison, bro. Y'all went crazy on that, man. So about like so many challenges and entrances in one of your songs. You were basically talking about like in the entrance challenge, you were talking about you look back like you wanted to be a rapper, but you kind of didn't see yourself going anywhere but look at where you are now.
Yeah.
Is essentially what you were saying. So like, did you see yourself getting far in Christian hip hop, or ever getting far in rap in general?
I mean, so I wanted to rap like since I was like maybe 10, um, and it just seemed like something that I just couldn't do. Um, and it wasn't until I got to high school that my friends started telling me like, like you're kind of good at this. And so then like I got to college, I was like, all right, well, like let me just try it out or whatever. And then the first song that I ever did was "Come Quick" with Eshawn Burgundy, and Eshawn was super supportive. And he, like, when he heard my verse, he was like, "Yo, like this is really dope." And whenever he said that, I was like, "Okay, well, like maybe I should like really put some effort into this." And yeah, I mean, by the grace of God, I've gotten further than I ever thought I could. I mean, I remember listening to Lecrae when I was,
Bro,
a 10-year-old kid, and then to have him recognize me, it's crazy.
Right. Dude, it is just like, that song is fire too. Like, after I found out about you on the Lecrae challenge, the first song I literally saw of yours was "Come Quick." I was like, dude, who has ever done anything like this from what I've heard? Because you had like that jazzy type of beat, and then you were like, "Lord, please come quick." I was like, oh, get it, bro. You killed it, man. You killed it on there, bro. You just completely destroyed it.
Thanks, bro.
Completely. But man,
that.
Yeah, that was definitely crazy. So, who is somebody in the CHH space like, oh, all glory to God, man. Hey, I appreciate you making the music for us to listen to. So like, on the basis of like I can relate to that, cause like in kindergarten and elementary school, like I wasn't sure what I wanted to be. I don't know. I still am not completely sure, but like the first thing I was asked is what I want to be like for career day, and I said a wrestler. And like, if you could see me, I don't think that would be very successful. But I switched it up, and I was like a spy, like a CIA agent or something. So like for years in elementary school, I would dress up like a CIA agent. But I don't know if I could do that one either. So still got some searching to do. But
sky's the limit, bro.
Yeah, man, that would have been cool. Would have been cool. Hey, sky's the limit. 007. Hey, so who would you want to work with in the CHH space? Like, from some of the greats to even some of the other ones that are coming up also.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously Lecrae. That hasn't happened yet, but I hope. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so Lecrae, which hasn't happened, but hopefully soon.
Hey.
Obviously all the Reach people. But then Datin is somebody who I really want to work with. I would love to continue to do stuff with Eshawn. And then some of the like newer dudes, my guy Battz is fire. I already have a song in the works with him, but I hope to do more work with him because he lives real close to me, and I think that we're gonna continue working on stuff hopefully. And but yeah, he's one of the up and coming dudes who I think is gonna take off.
Yeah, man. I've recently been starting listening to Battz after David Livick dropped a video on his channel. So yeah, he's fire, man. Yeah. His music is fire. We gotta talk about that Reach thing too, cause Lecrae was he basically reached out his hand to you and was like, if you're working on any music, just let me know, hit me up.
I definitely want to keep in touch with you. I'm gonna make sure that they load you up with some merchandise. And I also want to link you with some of my team here at Reach, man. And just if you're working on some music or something like that, maybe there's some opportunities to get on some mixtape soundtracks. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But sky's the limit.
I've done stuff like this before, and it just feels like so many people enter, and it's like I wasn't sure like if I was gonna be able to stick out or not.
Your talent stood out. So you can really kill, bro. You killed it though, family, man. Keep going, bro. We'll be in touch.
We'll do.
I'm like, hey, where's the track, man? We gotta get the track, bro. The fans are waiting. We're waiting on that Lecrae and Alcott remix or whatever y'all planning on doing. Mixtape. I'm ready, bro. I'm ready. So all right, let's talk about that. If you were to make a song with Lecrae, how do you think that would go, or how would you hope for it to go if you were able to do that song?
Man, that's something that I think I would just have to be in the moment and just see what I mean, I would be just praying like right before doing that song, just hope that it can be as the
Yeah.
dopest thing ever.
Yeah, man.
But I don't know.
All right.
It's hard to.
So
It's hard to
everybody's influenced, or that was kind of like a plug to your song, I guess. Influences. So who kind of influenced like your style, like your rapping, like your the way you do things on top of beats and stuff like that? So who did you get most inspiration from?
Yeah. Well, Lecrae was the person who like made me want to rap to begin with, though I don't think that like my style is necessarily like all that similar to him. I would say Logic was a huge inspiration for me. Um, Tech Nine is like known for his rhyme schemes and like the rapid fire flows, and so like I like sort of studied him. Um, and in terms of like lyricism, like I'm like Eshawn Burgundy is a big influence. Kendrick Lamar, people like that.
I got you, man. I got you. So I'm gonna be honest, like from my perspective, when I hear like your flow, it seems different to me. For some reason, it just feels a little different, like from other people I've heard or other people I listen to, especially like coming up like RG and Keith and stuff like that. So I think that's different, man. I think it's different, and I think it's cool. So like when it comes to like record labels or staying independent, would you rather stay indie longer, or would you rather like get signed soon?
Um, Honestly, I think I would just, if the right deal came along, great. But um, I think it's not worth focusing on that. Like, I mean, I'm just gonna do what I can by myself, and hopefully good things come out of that. But if a deal that's convenient and the right thing for me comes around, then great.
Hey, amen, amen, man, amen. So in your song, you were basically talking about how you took a sip of the fountain of youth and you hate how it tastes. And then there was another part that you said that stands out, where you were basically saying you want to do rap full time instead of doing it as a hobby. So would you mind digging a little bit deeper into like those lines right there of the song?
Yeah. Um, well, so the fountain of youth line was actually one of the first things that I wrote for that verse. And it really
Right.
was just because I thought that idea was kind of dope, because like, you know, you think of the fountain of youth as like this thing that like everyone's searching for. And I was like, well, what if like you took a sip of it and it tasted bad? And I thought that was a dope idea. So that was like one of the first
R-
lines that I wrote. And I was like, well, like what would that mean? And I was like, well, I guess that means that the fact that our time is limited is valuable in some way. That means that we shouldn't waste our time, and we should, you know, take advantage of every moment. And so that's sort of how I then came up with the concept of like, well, I need to like be on my grind. Like if this is what I want to do full time, not a hobby, then I need to be, you know, taking advantage of every moment, working hard, um, and using the fact that, you know, my time is limited as a motivator for that.
Yo, now that you explain it, like that is like even deeper. It's even deeper. Like once you get the understanding of what you were saying behind that bar, because like saying like even if it's something everybody's seeking, like the attention or the viewers or the listeners, like what if it's bad once you get there? Like what if you tried it out and it's not what you hoped for it to be, and it didn't last as long as you wanted it
Yeah,
to?
man.
So that's bro. That goes even harder now, bro. I gotta listen to that
Thank
again
you.
and just be like, sheesh. Get it, man. So we've heard a little bit of things like the fans. We've heard some things like from Critique Fridays to what Lecrae said when it comes to you doing songs possibly with Lecrae when that time comes, and possibly doing a song with On Beat. Are we allowed to get a little bit of a sneak peek of to what might be the possibility when it comes to one of those songs?
Yeah. Well, I will say Lecrae has yet to hit my line, which is okay. I have no bad blood over that. Um,
It's coming. It's
but
coming.
yeah, me and OB, we have a song in the works right now. So and it's
Oh,
crazy.
bro, I'm ready. I'm ready, man. His beats are fire, bro. And on top of the bars, it's gonna be even crazier, man. Gonna be even crazier. So, for up and coming artists who are even like under the people who are up and coming now, so like they're the next tier, like a little bit under like you, Jon Keith, no big deal. What would you say to them, like to kind of just go a little bit farther in their skills?
I mean, the biggest thing is just study. Like, I mean, I treat it like, I mean, like school. I mean, not. It's obviously more fun than school, but like, I mean, I would like listen to the rappers that like I was looking up to. I would pick out verses and I would learn them word for word, and just like try to figure out exactly what it was they were doing in terms of like how they were riding the beat, like where they were placing their rhymes on the beat, and just like their vocal inflections and everything. Like it's a learning process. Like, I mean, I was practicing for years before I even like got the courage to like actually record a song and put it out, like because I wanted to feel like my skill set was like where it needed to be at. And you know, obviously I still feel like I have plenty of ways to go, and I'm trying to get better every song, but yeah, I mean, just like study and work on the craft. That's like the number one thing for sure.
Man, that's great advice, bro. Especially saying like how long it took you to get here, like where you want to be. Especially saying like how you had to get here, and even like being a little worried on when to release this song. Like, when did you know it was time to release Come Quick? Like, when it was ready and prepared?
I think I didn't release it until like a year and a half after I actually recorded it. And you know, I mean, I've released some songs that I think now I look back on them and like I don't really like them. That's actually not one of them, but it just came to a point where
It can't be.
There is a point where you just have to say like, you know, I got to put something out, like because you know, if you never put anything out, then you know, then no one's ever going to hear you. So like it's just a balance between having the courage to put something out and not being too much of a perfectionist, but also being a harsh enough critic on yourself to know when something, you know, is not up to par.
I think that's good, man. I think that's good. Would you mind like speaking a little bit more on like knowing when to drop, like coming up, like you know when to drop and like when not to drop, and when you should, like when it's about that time. So, like, what do you think about like dropping and when it's safe, like when to save a good song?
Man, I mean, I think for people who are just coming up, I think that you have not a whole lot to lose. I mean, I think that it's, in terms of like when you drop, like that's less important than how you drop. Like when you're trying to get some attention, like I think it's more about, you know, do you have a unique way to push your song? Like, do you have a dope video? Do you have some sort of cool marketing technique, like a challenge to go with it, or some way to draw attention to it, that's not just the song itself? Because when nobody knows who you are, the song could be great, but they don't know to listen to it unless you have something else to grab their attention, which is why videos are so important now. That's why I do a video for all my contest entries.
Right, bro. Dude, can we just speak about those visuals for the contest, man? You're killing it, bro.
Now both of them know who I am, man. If that isn't God's work, I'm not sure what is. Cause when I was a kid, I would sit in my room and assume that to do what they doing was not even worth my attention. Up to anybody in the way of what I'm planning. Run over y'all like I'm Derrick Henry. Man, who is you crowning? I'll make sure the chair is empty. It's evident I got...
Killing it with the videos for the contest. Like the Now or Never challenge where you had the little lighter. Yeah. I was like, whoa, it's like artistic, but at the same time, it's just like focusing in one main area. And that was tight, bro.
Appreciate it.
Tight. Even with the entrance challenge, man. Yeah, man. Like, what are your thoughts about like visuals and releasing visuals? Like, do you have a certain like critique on like when you should drop one, or like what song shouldn't have a visual?
I think that in this day and age, if possible, it's never gonna hurt you to have a visual. So like if you can have one for as many releases as possible. It's also like it's not as hard to do as people think. Like, I mean, not that I think my videos are the greatest in the world, but like they get the job done, and they're literally shot on an iPhone. Like it's my brother filming me, um, and like it's pretty simple like to learn. Like, I mean, we literally just like during the pandemic, we decided like let's learn to shoot music videos, and so that's what we did. Um, and I mean, I can't like pump them out all the time, so I don't have a ton of them, but like I would just encourage everybody to like consider like just shooting some videos on their phone and putting those out with their songs, and I think that it would help out a lot of artists.
That's good, man. That's good. I totally agree. Like OB was saying something, and I felt like it was pretty factual. It was like, I think it was 2 Critique Fridays ago. And it was basically saying like singles, like we're in an age where songs, like we don't really do albums as much, but we really do singles and stuff like that. So I think like music videos also tie into like that. Like for example, Miles Minnick and Swayze. Like Swayze drops like the visuals, and then so does Miles Minnick with almost every song or single he drops. So I think we are in an age where like if you got to get higher, or if you got to get up a bit, like start dropping visuals and like being consistent, which is what I think you all are doing. And y'all are doing a great job, man. So like if you were still coming up, but I would say you're like already where you like you're almost there. Like I feel like you're super close to being like where you want to be. Hey bro, I feel like you're almost there, bro. For real, it feels like you're almost there. I am so serious, man. I'm not even just saying that. I'm serious, bro. But like, if you were still like on your grind, like in today's age, like in how things are now, what would you do differently now than you did like years ago when you were around the time of Come Quick?
Yeah, the biggest thing that made a difference for me was networking, and I wasn't doing that early on. I'm a super introverted person, and so like networking is not something that comes naturally to me, and it's not something that I typically want to do. But it's ultimately how I made a lot of the connections that have helped me out, like in terms of like just people giving me advice, as well as like artists that I've started working with. And so if I had started networking earlier, like it only would have helped. I think that, yeah, I mean, it's networking in all sorts of ways. I mean, just interacting with people on like social media, but then also like going to events and meeting people there. Just like being open to like show up somewhere and talk to somebody who like has similar interests to you, and like you'd be surprised like how those people may end up helping you down the road. And so yeah, networking is huge.
I agree. So I have a question about the networking, because like when I listen to people like Ruslan, or maybe like Andy Mineo, like Andy Mineo literally put a bar in his song like, I don't want to hear your new song. I don't want to
I already know what you want. I don't want to hear you rapping in your new song. Rather take a street food tour through Wuhan, cause y'all about a solid ass
like that. And it was like he'd rather take a full tour through Wuhan. So like, do you think there's ever like a limit to how much you should try, like, to push out your songs or try and network? And like, if they're like, what your thoughts are on that? Would you mind like explaining that to the people seeing this?
Yeah, I mean, it's just got to be like within the right context. So like, for example, I mean, Ruslan like has been super helpful for me, and he and I talk all the time now, and he like, but the reason that I got connected with him was through his critique, his like Fan Love Friday, where he does a critique thing. And I was just consistently sending music into him. And so, but like he would say, don't ever DM him music on Instagram. Like that. So like there is like the right place and right time to share music for somebody. Or like, for example, I went to the No Big Deal show in Nashville like a couple of years ago, and Derek Minor was there, and I talked to him for a couple minutes, and then he told me, send through some music. So like I made it like the introduction first, and then after he told me I could send some music through, that's when I did, like, instead of just like hitting them up and saying, hey, like, check out my music. So like that's why networking is so important, is because like if you can like make an impression on somebody just about like who you are first, then maybe they'll like take an interest and like want to check out what you're doing. But if like you're some random person who just sends them, a link to your song on Spotify, like it's just not gonna be a great impression. Like, and they're probably not even gonna check it out.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. Like talk first and let them know who you are, and then you're more likely to have a chance on maybe getting them to listen, instead of just like, hey, what's up, just dropped this thing, man, check it out, here it is, I need more views, I need more listens. So I think that's right, bro. That's great, man. Great advice, bro. So like, especially that No Big Deal thing you made, we gotta get an Alcott and No Big Deal, or we gotta get something like that, bro. We gotta get some. You gotta get in the tribe, a tribe
Tell
song.
No Big
bro.
Deal, I'm ready
We
whenever.
gotta get you on there, man. Hey, bro. When we post this video, I gotta send the link. Bro. I gotta just like clip that part and be like, No Big Deal, he's ready. He's ready, man.
It'll happen
ready.
if it happens.
Bro, that would be fire.
I'm
Hey,
not gonna try to force anything.
If it happens, it happens. If it happens, it happens.
Sure.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. So, like, who are some recent artists who have, like, been inspiring you, like, inspiring your songs, and, like, even just you inspiring you in general?
It's a good question. Let me think. I'm a huge fan of Mick Jenkins. I think his sound is really unique. And a lot of my unreleased stuff is more jazzy and sort of like soul sample oriented than some of my other stuff. And so I'm big into that. I think that, like, honestly, I mean, I mentioned Battz earlier. Like he's super inspiring too. Just not just his sound. I mean, I think he's dope, but just his work ethic too is crazy. And so shout out to him. But yeah, man, I mean, those are some of the people who I've been listening to. Also, one other person I would say is Locksmith. Is like one of the best lyricists I've ever heard. And like, he's somebody who I just study his bars, because I'm trying to be like him, just in terms of the way he puts his words together. It's crazy. So yeah, so those are some of the like artists that I've been listening to more recently, and just trying to learn from them.
Yeah, man. That's tight, bro. That is super tight. We just gotta shout out Battz again, man. We just gotta shout out Battz. I'm gonna leave him in the I'm gonna put him on the link for the video. I'm gonna leave some links below, so you all can check out Battz. But back to another question about like the inspiration and stuff like that. Like, for people who are even like inspired by your music, what do you hope they get from like your songs and stuff like that? Like, as you keep releasing and as you keep putting out new songs and releasing better videos and like great videos. Like, your videos are already good, but I'm saying like as you keep going in the CHH space.
Yeah. Man, I mean, I feel like the easy answer is, this is Christian hip hop, so like we want to like point people towards Jesus, and that's a great answer. But I also would say that I think that's, we can only do so much to do that. If God chooses to use our music in that way, then he chooses to do that, and that's great. And so in terms of what I feel like I have more control over, like, I just want to inspire people in general, like, because I mean, the way that I was inspired by like Lecrae when I was 10 years old, and I listened to his music, like it definitely helped me grow in my faith, like in a big way, but it also was just like inspiring to see this like positive role model who was just like a dope rapper. And I'm sure he inspires kids who aren't Christian either. Like, I mean, so I just would love to like inspire kids like the way that I was inspired. just with the music, man. I mean, that's the ultimate goal with every song.
Yeah, man. First, I gotta say real quick, bro, I gotta thank you for one of the bars you put in your song. You're basically saying you're not interested in mainstream, like you just want to save lives out here and grind without fear. Or it was something you said,
man.
but it was
Limit, I stick with the pace of a race when I chase dreams. But I don't care about mainstream, just wanna change lives out here. I grind without fear, my time's about near. I gotta put the work in now before the Lord takes me.
really good. It kept getting better, and I just want to thank you for that, man. Because we to let the people know that you're not interested in going on the other side. Like, you're not doing this just to get popular, but you're also doing this like for why you should be doing it. Like, you're doing it for the right reason. So I just gotta say thanks, man.
I appreciate you saying that.
I appreciate that bar. And it was even better, bro. It was just a great bar. It just kept getting better.
Bro.
But I do want to say one thing too, bro. Like, when I was younger, like listening to CHH, and once I was like first introduced, I feel like in some way Lecrae has inspired everybody in the CHH space.
No doubt.
Like from all his songs, like just like that. Like, I was even at a point where, like, when I was younger, I couldn't almost listen to anybody outside of Lecrae and Andy Mineo and like the original 116. Because it was like, if it's anybody else outside of them, it might not. You can't be too sure. But like more recently, I've been like listening to more people outside of like 116 and like Indie Tribe and stuff like that. So it's really cool seeing how like CHH is growing more and more, like with so many different styles. It's like subgenres.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent
inside of a subgenre. Yeah, man, definitely. Like, what in the CHH space, like, speaking of like subgenres in a subgenre, like, how do you feel about like the different types of songs? Like, you have like wavy people like Paris Cariz and Jerry Mana 350, and then you got like more chill people like I Am Rescued and Battz, and then you even have like the hard bars like Bizzle and Jared Sanders and Datin. So like, what are your thoughts about them, and like what type of rap would you like want to do with one of them, or would you ever want to do a song with somebody who's in like a different type of space that you are?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a place for everybody. I'm glad that there's such a diverse amount of sounds in CHH. Obviously, like, some of it's like not as much for me as others. I mean, for example, like, I don't make super wavy music, but at the same time, like, 350 is like the homie, and he's like one of my favorite artists right now. Like, we have a ton of songs together,
dude.
And he's a super funny dude. Yeah, I think that the wavy stuff is cool. In terms of my personal taste, like, I'm very much like sort of classic, like, lyrical hip hop dude, and so, you know, I love people like Datin and Eshawn Burgundy and people who are rapping over boom bap. Like, that's really, like, if I'm in my car by myself, that's what I'm listening to. But I'm down to work with anybody. I just love hip hop in general. So like, I do enjoy the wavy stuff, but it's just not like as much my go-to.
I get what you're saying, man. I get what you're saying, especially with the hit hard bars, like with Datin. That song you did with M.Tarver, Back in the Ring, dude.
Fire.
She is a vocalist that focuses on composing the dopest scripts, making sure that every note is stitched and interwoven with the Holy Ghost. Jehovah sent, I'm bold and no, I won't be.
Dude, that song was hard. Like, even like M.Tarver was the feature and Datin, like, it was his song, but M.Tarver went off too, man.
Bury your cast and leave your area thrash. A scary in fact, very impacted, but busting flame. If you inquire what's my name, I'll take you there if you ask. I'm the Christian version of Kendrick work.
Yeah, man.
Oh man, M.Tarver's flow, it's just different, bro. It's different, like, in a good way.
Dope.
It's unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. So, like, when it comes to things like even like hard bars, like the going at it bars, who has like inspired you the most? Like even like Datin. Like, when did you first like hear about Datin and find out about his music?
I can't remember exactly when I first heard Datin. I remember when God Over Money was sort of like just like starting to get a lot of traction. I feel like I was in middle school. And so I was paying attention, but I don't remember like the moment that I first heard Datin. But I've been listening to him for a while. Always thought that he was crazy dope. But yeah, I mean, I would say that he's one of the best lyricists in CHH, if not the best. I mean, he's top 5. He's in the conversation. But yeah,
He is definitely in the conversation.
yeah, no, he's crazy.
Definitely, man. There's no doubt about that, bro. There should be no doubts. That's what I'm saying. Because if anybody's doubting, we have to have conversations. Just have to have a conversation, bro. Yeah, man. He goes crazy. Yeah. It's like, it's almost hard to try and differentiate who's the best, because there's so many good like rappers and
So much
stuff like
talent.
that. Like even with the way they say their words. Exactly. It's like so much talent to choose from. It's almost hard, like, to pick one. Even like the top 5, like, you know who it is, but at the same time, there's so many people who are so close.
Yeah, well,
that it
and
gets
there,
a
there
little.
are different types of lyricists too. Because I mean, Datin's like, he's got crazy punchlines, but then like I would say that Ishan has like some of the best metaphors I've ever heard. Like he just paints a picture, and it's just they're just different types of lyricism.
Yeah, man. That's a fact. That's a fact for sure. Oh my goodness, man. So, like, when it comes to grind and like when it comes to working hard and pushing out music and all of those things, who do you say, like, who have you realized more recently has kind of like inspired or impacted you when it comes to like those things, like pushing out more music or maybe just like work ethic and just getting it done?
I mean, I'll mention Battz again, just because let's give the guy his flowers. Like, the dude works so hard. But Ruslan is like the number one answer for me. I mean, he's got his hand in so many different arenas. He helps so many artists, and that's like one of his missions is to help artists grow and develop. And he he works so hard. He encourages other artists to work hard, and he gives them specific advice about what to work on. And so yeah, Ruslan is like the number one dude who's just like inspiring in terms of his grind for me.
Bro, that's a fact. Ruslan's grind is like nobody else's,
Crazy.
bro. No one can ever say he's short on content ever.
Exactly.
Like, if you ever ask
Exactly.
anybody if they know Ruslan, bro, every day, bro. Every day. That's consistent, bro. It's awesome, man. It's awesome that you could get content out like that, for sure. And like representing the kingdom while doing it. That's really good, bro. It's really cool. So I just want to say thank you, man, for coming on this interview. So I wanted to shout out Alcott real quick. Shout out his music. I'm gonna leave his music in the description. Make sure to follow him on his platforms, from Spotify to YouTube to Twitter. And we'll see you all on the next interview. Make sure to check back in. And thanks again, Alcott, for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bro.
No problem, bro. I appreciate it. Thanks, man.